Before we begin, hi! I'm Saber. Some of you might know me over from Twitch. Here's my page here. Haven't been active for a little while for, well, obvious reasons, unfortunately. I do want to give a shout out to Daddy Bubbles. Without him, this wouldn't really be happening. He contacted me saying he wanted to do a charity event, and he requested that I share my story with you guys. So here we go. My cancer journey started in November of 2019 after having my third son. It was actually 2 weeks after I had him. I noticed something didn't feel quite right, so I went to the doctor, ended up getting my appendix removed, and it came back that I had cancer. I had been diagnosed with stage 3B appendiceal cancer. This led into several different surgeries. It actually kind of got to the point that I was well known at the hospital. Many of the nurses and doctors there knew my name. Sad to say, the little treatment that I did get in the beginning didn't work because I was soon diagnosed with stage 4 appendiceal cancer, which means that it had spread to my abdominal wall and it was everywhere, basically in my abdomen. I was put on a very intense chemo regime. It was very hard on my body. I would be sick for about a week at a time, and I got this twice a month, so I basically lost 2 weeks of every month. I'd get violently sick. I wouldn't be able to do much, really. My hair did begin to thin out a little bit, which led to me having to wear wigs because my confidence had just taken a huge hit at that point. The good news was that the chemo had worked. My tumors were responding to it well because they were shrinking, and that meant that I qualified to get something called a high-pec surgery. I ended up going to Toronto for that surgery. I was in surgery for 14 hours. It was intense. It was a really hard recovery, but I made it through, and my surgeon was fairly confident that she had removed all of the diseased areas, which included organs such as all of my reproductive organs. I lost my gallbladder, and that's just to name a few of the parts that came out of my abdomen because of cancer. My surgery happened actually a year ago on the 15th, and ever since then things have been great. You know, I even had a fuck cancer party. I had a cake out of it, and it was great. I was living life to the fullest, and I felt like I was getting another chance. I have checkup scans every 3 months, and the one in March came back showing a tumor close to my spleen. So this meant that obviously my cancer was back, and I was experiencing a recurrence within 9 months of my surgery. The possibility of having another surgery is questionable at the moment because my surgeons believe that my cancer will be back in full force, and what we've been doing is waiting to see what happens come my scan on June 15th of 2022. The deal is basically if my scan comes back showing very little spread over the course of the last 3 months, then my surgeons will be more likely to go ahead with surgery, but if not, I'm looking at about 6 to 18 months of life remaining. And that depends on if I accept any kind of treatment, and given my history with chemo, I'm really not sure I'd be able to do it. When Daddy Bubbles first contacted me, telling me about his idea for a charity stream in my name, in my honor, I should say, he was asking me if I wanted to receive 100% of any donations. And I just wouldn't feel right doing that. I've just never liked asking people for money, I guess. So we came to the conclusion that it'll be a 50-50 split between me and the Canadian Cancer Society. The reason that I'm choosing them for some of these donations is because they were key at the beginning of my journey. Being a young female, I was so concerned about losing my hair, and they actually gave me 2 free human hair wigs. For anyone who's ever bought a wig before, especially human hair, you will know those are not cheap, and I would love to support them and I suppose encourage them to keep doing that. It's so important, and it really makes all the difference. It makes this shitty situation just a little bit easier. From the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you to anyone involved in this, whether you're able to donate or not. It means the world to me. It means the world to my family. And I can't believe that this has gotten the level of involvement that it has. This isn't my first time in the trenches, and I can promise you all that I'll fight for as long and as hard as I can. And just knowing that you guys are beside me means everything. Thank you.